I was standing near the bar, nursing a warm Coke, when my dad raised his glass and said the words that lit the fuse. "Melissa, welcome to the family," he said, voice booming through the rented lakefront clubhouse like he was some kind of king. "And as a wedding gift, your mother and I are giving you and Danny our condo." I blinked. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't high. I was fully sober, standing 20 feet from my dad when he handed over my home like it was a damn fruit basket. That condo wasn't theirs. It was mine. Quick note. Before we start, how's your day going? And where are you joining from? I'd bought that place 12 years earlier, when I was 45, after decades of busting my back in construction and HVAC, paid every dime myself. I'd gutted it down to the studs and rebuilt it. New hardwood floors, high-end appliances, custom tile in the bathroom. 60 grand easy, not counting the hours I sank into it. And now, here was my dad, Calvin, tossing it into Danny's lap like a used coat. The whole room went quiet for a second, just long enough for me to register that he wasn't joking. Then people clapped, applauded. Melissa's mom teared up. Danny put his arm around her and grinned like he'd just won the damn lottery. He looked straight at me and gave this smug little nod. I wanted to walk up there and flip the table, but I didn't. I stood still. My jaw locked so tight it hurt. I waited until dinner was over, gave some weak excuse about having to work early, and left without saying goodbye. That night, around 11, my phone buzzed. "Danny, move out by Friday. Melissa's picking out paint." Just like that, no thanks, no conversation, no nothing. Something in me cracked. I didn't scream. I didn't call him or my dad. I didn't even reply. I just sat there in the dark, phone in my hand, staring at the wall like I was watching the last scene of a movie I never asked to be in. They wanted a gift? Fine, I'd give them one. They could have the condo, just not the version they thought they were getting. I was done being the quiet, reliable son. I was done waiting for permission to be pissed off. They'd made their move. Now it was my turn. I bought the condo when I was 45. No cosigner. No loan from the bank of mom and dad. Just years of busted knuckles, dirty boots, and paychecks that barely made rent. I'd been doing HVAC and construction since I was 19. Before that, I was sweeping out garages and crawling under trailers at 15 just to put gas in my tank. Well, gas in someone else's tank. I didn't even own a car until I was 22. Danny, though, he got a brand new Ford Escape on his 16th birthday, complete with a big red bow and a tank full of premium. That's just how it was in our house. Danny sneezed and Mom rushed in with tissues and chicken soup. I got the flu once during junior year, and Dad told me to walk it off. They always said I was more independent. Translation, they didn't bother with me. By 18, I was paying rent to live in my own damn bedroom. Danny was still living there at 24, jobless, hungover, and somehow still the baby. So when I closed on the condo, that key in my hand felt like proof. Proof I could build something they never gave me. The place was a dump, but I didn't care. Water damage in the walls, cracked tile everywhere, kitchen cabinets from 1972, complete with dead mice and grease-stained laminate. The wiring was a fire hazard. The toilet didn't flush right. I saw it for what it could be. Nights and weekends, I worked that place like a second job. Demoed the whole interior with a crowbar and a sledgehammer. Tore out every square inch of flooring, rewired the outlets, put in recessed lighting, ran new plumbing, installed custom cabinets I'd built myself in a buddy's shop. I didn't have much furniture for the first few months, just a twin mattress on the floor and a camp chair in the living room. But the bones were solid, and I was proud of it. My parents came by once, maybe 6 weeks into the reno. Dad stepped over a pile of drywall, looked around the open floor plan and said, "Should have bought somewhere nicer." Then he asked if I had any beer. That was the only time they saw the place mid-project. Never asked how it was going, never offered $1 or a hand, just assumed I'd figure it out. And I did. 9 months later, it was spotless. Oak floors, granite counters, stainless steel appliances, Even a rain shower in the bathroom with a heated tile floor. I did it all myself. Every nail, every wire, every inch of it. I invited them over for a housewarming dinner. Grilled steaks, made baked potatoes, cleaned until the place looked like a damn showroom. Mom complimented the curtains. Dad said, "Don't get cocky." Still, I kept them close. Sunday dinners, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I played the role, the quiet son, the one who didn't cause trouble. They called me reliable. That's what you are when you don't expect anything. Danny was always blowing things up. Bar fights, DUI, some girl accusing him of smashing her car windows. And somehow, he got more love the worse he behaved. And I just kept showing up. Eventually, I gave my parents a spare key. In case of emergency, I told them. Dumbest thing I ever did. They never used it, at least not while things were normal. But I should have known better. Should have remembered who I was dealing with. People don't change. They just wait for the right moment to take what you've built. And when they think you're too tired to fight, that's when they move in. I didn't sleep that night, just stared at the ceiling, playing Dad's voice over and over in my head. You've had your turn. That smug little prick didn't even bother to ask. I called my parents, straight to voicemail, tried again, same thing. Texted Mom. Is this real? Nothing. Texted Dad. You can't be serious. Still nothing. I sat there in the dark, phone in my lap, and felt something shift. This wasn't some dumb misunderstanding. This was planned. Next morning, before work, I checked the building's camera footage. My unit had a shared entry camera by the mailboxes. Sure enough, 2:43 p.m. the day before, while I was crawling under a house in Livonia, there was Danny waltzing into the building. No knock, no call. He used a key, the spare key, the one I gave Mom for emergencies. I scrubbed through the footage. He was inside for almost an hour, came back out holding a notebook and a tape measure. I saw red. When I got home that night, I went straight to the hardware store and bought a new deadbolt, swapped it out before I even took off my boots. Then I knocked on my neighbor Frank's door. He's in his 60s, retired, always watching from his balcony. "Hey," I asked, "you see my brother around yesterday?" Frank nodded. "Yeah, he said they'd be moving in soon." Him and his fiancée. Seemed real sure of it. That sealed it. I wasn't going to wait for another text or some surprise moving truck. Next day, I took the morning off work and walked into a law office in Dearborn, Harding and Westman. Plain building, cheap carpet, didn't care. The receptionist pointed me to Craig Harding, guy in his late 40s, plain suit, no nonsense. I handed him the deed, mortgage, utility bills, all in my name. He flipped through the folder, raised an eyebrow, then looked at me and said, "They've got no legal leg to stand on." I let out a breath. "But," he added, "if they try anything else, you'll want a paper trail. Start documenting everything. Every text, voicemail, in-person comment, write it all down." I nodded. Done. From that point forward, I recorded everything. I screenshotted texts, saved voicemails, took notes after every conversation, even casual ones. If someone said something in passing, I logged it. Frank saw Danny again on Wednesday, said Melissa was asking about what kind of furniture would match the floors. That made me laugh, because the only thing they were going to match was regret. Let them keep digging. I wasn't backing down. They thought I'd just roll over and hand it all over because it came from them. But I've worked too damn hard to be polite while they robbed me blind. They wanted a war? Fine. I'd make sure they remembered exactly who they tried to screw. Craig leaned back in his chair, flipping through the stack of papers I'd brought him. "You could sue," he said. "Emotional distress, attempted trespass, hell, maybe even some kind of coercion." I nodded like I was thinking about it, but I already knew I wasn't going that route. Suing would take time, months, maybe years. What I had in mind? That would only take 2 days. That night, I sat at the kitchen table with a legal pad and a beer, made a list. Kitchen appliances, $14,000. Hardwood flooring, 9. Bathroom reno, 11. Lighting, fixtures, smart thermostats, security system, custom blinds, another 5, easy. All paid for in cash, check, or card, mine. No help, no gifts, no family legacy. I stared at that list like it was a blueprint. Then I pulled out my old contacts binder from my construction days, flipped to a guy I hadn't talked to in 5 years. Tony DeMarco. Ran a private crew that specialized in cleanouts, remodels, insurance flips. Good guys, quiet. I called him. Tony, it's Nate Carter. Holy hell, I haven't heard that name in a while. You still swinging a hammer? Sometimes. I got a different kind of job for you. You want it gutted? Not gutted, I said. Just restored to factory settings. He paused. You serious? Dead serious. No damage, no drama. Just take out everything that wasn't part of the original unit. Appliances, floors, custom finishes, all of it. Tony let out a low whistle. You got it. We locked in Thursday and Friday. Exact days Danny had told me to be out. Perfect. Next morning, I rented a climate-controlled storage unit about 10 minutes down I-96. Got a bunch of boxes, packing tape, Sharpies, labeled everything by room. Even took pictures as I boxed it all up. My neighbor's daughter, Lydia, 20, snarky, allergic to Melissa, agreed to keep an eye out during the work. Said if anyone showed up early, she'd call me and the cops. I owed her a pizza and a case of Red Bull by the end of it. By Wednesday night, everything personal was packed. Tools, pictures, clothes, even the spare light bulbs I'd picked out special for the kitchen. I laid out a sleeping bag in the middle of the empty living room. The walls echoed. The fridge hummed. I lay there staring at the ceiling fan I'd installed 4 summers back and thought, they really thought I'd give this to them. I didn't cry. I was too pissed off for that. Too clear. They wanted to take something from me, something I built with my hands, dollar by dollar. Well, they could have the address, but they weren't getting the home. Thursday morning, 7:30 a.m. sharp, Tony's van rolled up. Big white panel truck with no logos, just how I wanted it. He brought 4 guys, quiet, efficient, no standing around with coffee cups. Let's start with the kitchen, I told them. Work top down. They got to it without a word. First to go was the fridge, stainless steel, French doors, built-in ice maker. Tony and another guy slid it out, unplugged it, capped the water line, wrapped it in blankets, and rolled it into the truck. Stove was next. Gas lines shut off, detached, tagged for safety. Dishwasher gone. Then came the quartz countertops. They lifted them out like they were performing surgery. No chips, no cracks, just clean removals. Same with the cabinets. I'd built those myself. Soft close hinges, hidden lighting, solid maple frames. Out they went. By lunchtime, the kitchen looked like it did 3 years ago. Just a box with hookups and drywall scars. Tony walked past me, wiping his hands. You sure about all this? Just keep going, I said. Bathroom was next. They pulled the walk-in shower first. Glass panels, rainfall head, custom tile work I'd spent 2 weekends getting perfect. It all came out, carefully, quietly. The double vanity, gone. That thing weighed a ton, but they had it disassembled and wrapped in under 30 minutes. Then came the heated floors. Tony raised an eyebrow. Really ripping these? Yep, I said. Back to basics. I'd saved extra tile from the original demo. Beige, ugly, cheap, perfect. They laid it down fast. Wasn't pretty, but it was legal. All the custom lighting, sconces, LED mirror, dimmers, replaced with standard fixtures. I had a box of them sitting in my hall closet, still in plastic. Swapped out the smart thermostat, too. New one had a dial and 2 settings, hot or cold. They didn't complain, just worked. We knocked off around 6 p.m. I bought them pizza, told them to crash at the Red Roof down the road on my dime. Friday morning, they were back by 8. Time for the floors. The hardwood was the best part of the whole place. Wide plank oak, hand scraped, over $9,000 worth of sweat and money. But I'd kept the original laminate in storage. I knew even back then I might need it someday. They pulled up the hardwood carefully, plank by plank. I boxed it. Might use it in the next place. The laminate went down fast. Same color, cheap texture, hollow underfoot. It was like erasing history in reverse. Tony knocked on the wall where the smart panel had been. "You want this whole system gone?" "All of it," I said. "Alarms, cameras, everything. Rip the sensors, patch the holes." By 4 p.m., the place was stripped, not trashed, just neutral, bland, boring, perfect. I walked from room to room, checking the work, every socket covered, every baseboard replaced. Nothing broken, nothing illegal, just an empty average apartment. Tony pulled off his gloves, handed me the final bill. I paid him in cash, straight from the safe in my closet. "Hell of a job," he said. "Never had a client undo their own home before." I didn't answer, just shook his hand. After they left, I walked around one more time, took photos of every room, no angles, no filters. Just plain shots, kitchen, bathroom, living room, bedrooms. Then I sat down at the kitchen counter that wasn't there anymore, opened my laptop, and emailed every photo to Craig. Subject line, "Condition as of September 1st." And that was that. I didn't touch another thing. The trap was set. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. on the dot. I was sitting in a camping chair in the living room, the only piece of furniture left, sipping black coffee and waiting. Then I heard it. Laughter, footsteps, car doors slamming. I stood up and walked to the door just as they reached it. Danny had a box in his hands. Melissa was carrying a throw pillow. Mom had a grocery bag, and Dad, the general himself, was lugging what looked like a slow cooker. They were grinning like they just won a prize on a game show. I opened the door before they could knock. Danny looked up, surprised. "You're still here?" "Yep," I said. "Come in. Take a look." They stepped inside, one by one, like a parade of arrogance. Danny got 2 steps in and stopped cold. Melissa gasped behind him. "What the hell happened?" she said. "Oh," I said casually, "I took my stuff." "Everything I paid for." She turned in a slow circle, taking in the plain tile, the laminate floors, the empty walls. "Where's the kitchen?" "Storage unit," I said, "along with the bath fixtures, floors, lighting, all of it." Dad's face turned crimson. "You vandalized the place." "Nope," I said, folding my arms. "It's up to code." "Just not yours." He took a step toward me like he was going to puff his chest, but I didn't budge. Mom walked in last, looking around like she didn't recognize the place. Her voice dropped. "Natalie needs this more than you." I snapped my eyes to hers. "You mean Danny?" "Because he always gets what he wants." Danny threw his box on the floor. "You're insane, man. You just ruined a perfectly good condo over your ego?" "No," I said. "I reclaim what's mine." Melissa pointed at the walls. "We told everyone we were moving in. We already posted about it." I showed my mom pictures. "Then, maybe next time," I said. "Wait until you actually have a lease." Danny's mouth twisted. "This is why no one takes you seriously. You don't know how to let things go." "No, Danny," I said. "You don't know how to earn them." He opened his mouth to say something else, but just then there was a knock. I walked past them and opened the door. FedEx envelope. Craig's cease and desist letter. Right on time. I handed it straight to Dad. He opened it, scanned the first paragraph, and his shoulders dropped an inch. "Legally," I said, "you've got nothing. The deed is in my name. Always has been. This place was never yours to give." The next 45 minutes were non-stop whining. Melissa cried. Danny yelled. Mom said she was ashamed. Dad threatened lawyers, then muttered about family betrayal. I stood there and let them wear themselves out. Didn't raise my voice once. Eventually, Melissa stomped back to the car. Danny followed, muttering curses under his breath. Dad paused at the door. "This isn't over." "It is for me," I said. He glared. "Ungrateful bastard." Mom looked back one last time. "You didn't have to do this." "I did," I said, and shut the door. Then I bolted the lock. Felt damn good. I didn't hear from any of them the next day or the day after that. But the family sure did. By Monday morning, my phone started blowing up. Aunt Karen was the first to call. "About damn time someone stood up to your folks," she said. "I always knew Calvin was full of it. You just proved it." Then came a case of beer delivered to my front door. No return address. Just a sticky note inside. "Heard you gutted the place." Legend. Greg. Greg was my cousin on Mom's side, the quiet one who always played peacekeeper. Guess even he had a limit. By the end of the week, I'd heard from 3 second cousins and an old babysitter who said, "That story's gonna be family legend." I didn't brag, didn't explain, just let it spread. Mom didn't call for 3 weeks. When she finally did, her voice was softer than I'd ever heard it. "Can we talk?" We met at a diner halfway between our places. Quiet booth in the back. She wore sunglasses even though it was cloudy. "I didn't know your father was going to do that," she said. I stared at her. "He told me it was taken care of." "That you wouldn't mind?" "Why would I not mind?" I said. "I'm not 12. That was my home, my life. And you tried to erase it like it didn't mean anything." She looked down at her coffee. "Your dad, he's obsessed with saving face. With Danny looking good. It's always been like that." I nodded. "Yeah, and you let it happen." She didn't argue. She didn't cry either, just whispered, "I'm sorry." That was the closest I was ever going to get to real accountability. Danny never said a word. Melissa, though, she took to Facebook, passive-aggressive posts for a month straight. Quotes about toxic family and jealous people always try to sabotage your blessings. Even posted a photo of an empty condo with the caption, "Sometimes people destroy what they can't control." I didn't comment, didn't react, let her stew in it. 2 months later, I sold the condo as is. Didn't even bother repainting. Young guy bought it, first-time homeowner, fresh out of the trades. I gave him full disclosure, top to bottom. Told him the history, told him what was stripped and why. He grinned and said, honestly, "I like a blank slate felt right." With the money, I bought a fixer-upper in Redford, detached, backyard, no shared walls, no condo board, no damn spare keys. It needed work, sure, roof, wiring, some drywall. But that didn't scare me. The peace did, at first, after years of being the fallback, the fixer, the quiet one who absorbed every blow. Silence felt foreign, but then it settled in. No more surprise calls, no more Sunday dinners with fake smiles, just my tools, my time, and a place that was mine. I lost some family in the process, or maybe just the illusion of it. Either way, I gained something better. Peace. It's been 6 months since that mess, and I still shake my head when I think about it. Sometimes I catch myself walking into my new place, just standing in the entryway, looking around like I still can't believe it's mine. It's not flashy, mid-century ranch, cracked driveway, faded shutters, but it's solid, quiet. Doesn't owe anybody a damn thing. The day I closed, I ripped out the carpets myself, ordered subfloor, started sketching kitchen layouts on the wall in pencil. No rush this time, no one hovering. I work at my own pace. Saturday mornings, I drink coffee in the unfinished dining room and plan the next step. New wiring goes in next week. After that, maybe insulation, maybe drywall. I'm not on anyone's schedule but mine. I don't do Sunday dinners anymore. I thought I'd miss them. I don't. I talk to Mom here and there. She's still trying, still cautious like she's waiting for me to snap. I don't. I just keep it civil. Dad hasn't said a word. Sent a birthday card in July, no return address. I tossed it. Danny and Melissa disappeared. Last I heard, they moved into some starter condo across town. No upgrades, no wedding gifts. I could have burned them worse. My lawyer said I had a shot at emotional distress, damages, even fraud if I wanted to press. But I didn't bother. I already won. I sleep through the night now. No more triple-checking locks. No more waiting for a knock at the door or a backhanded comment over dinner. Just quiet, just mine. Every once in a while, someone hears the story and asks, "Wasn't it a little extreme?" Maybe. But if I had to do it again, I'd go even harder. You work your whole damn life to build something, piece by piece. You pour yourself into it, and people, especially the ones who say they love you, think they can just take it because they decided it's time. Screw that. They came from my home, I gave them a shell, and I kept my dignity. That trade worked just fine for me. If you've ever been the one they counted on to just roll over, the one they thought would stay quiet to keep the peace, don't. Say no. Burn the bridge if you have to. You'd be surprised what happens when you finally say, "Not this time."